Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and this is going to be a really bizarre episode, but what we're going to be focusing on most is the post-truth world that the vast majority of us have seen come to fruition in rapid fashion via the media military industrial complex in our short lifetimes. Okay, in our short lifetimes. And we're going to go over the Jones verdict, how Jones handled the situation, the immense, I would say, ludicrous nature of this, the dangerous nature of the entire trial, and the idea of when crisis actors were introduced into popular culture and repeatedly used as a way to discredit anybody from asking valid questions about things that happened via high-scale level events, such as Vegas. Vegas is another great example of how this crisis actor purposeful disinformation was interjected into something that had questions written all over it. Okay, written all over it. But now it's been taken one step further to a point where not only you will default a defendant, whether you think, Jones a good guy or a bad guy who runs a media organization, and then go after them on verdicts to the tune of $1 billion. It was just shy of this one of $1 billion. I think it was 965, right? Something like that, 964. And it was 50 plus million in the last one. We're talking $1 billion. Now let's put that into perspective right now. Okay. Now there's about 88 people watching on YouTube. We're on some other platforms. This video will reach anywhere from, 3 to 5 to maybe even 10,000 people if we really push it, right? Could get more, who knows? We've had some big blockbusters, but this one's probably not it. None of us are probably going to accumulate, I can almost definitely put it out there, $1 billion in our lifetimes. All right, so that's one aspect of this. Okay, now another aspect of this is the fact that you have mainstream media organizations repeatedly throughout the decades selling us on lies about wars and major events, including Vietnam, 9/11, Iraq. Same thing still going on today via not only the Ukraine-Russian conflict, which has all been legalized, by the way, all the way back with Mockingbird and into the Smith-Mundt Act, with Castine along the way. Okay, all under legalese. They're allowed to do this. And you can't sue them into the ground. You don't have unlimited resources, period. And that's just going to be one aspect of the unreality. So we're going to talk Jones. We're also going to show you holographic Zelensky. And it brought me into thinking about a sci-fi film from 2002. It's not necessarily the greatest film, but there are a lot of parallels, in my opinion, on how that's working into society. So that's what we're going to lead with. We're going to come back to Jones, get your questions and comments in on everything, and we're going to go to you as well. All right, so as I've said, post-truth world, that is what we're living through, right? And this transhuman agenda, where they're trying to not only create automation and robots, but personas out of this and AI is very important. All right, they're normalizing this stuff. And this is a male exclusive humanoid AI after hours Lord's address. Nervous to talk. And they're trying to humanize these things because, once again, they're trying to transform humanity by having them merge with machines and try to trick them into a virtual age. That's what the metaverse is, okay? And they're also creating just full-on AI personas. Now, I've talked about how commercially, for well over a decade, almost 2 decades now. We've seen how convincing holograms can be commercially in real time. I've argued that some of the UFOs we've seen in the past and present and probably in the future are different types of drone aircraft utilizing holographic technology. All right? Now, the WEF also has many a piece out there on cloaking technology, which is also a reality. Again, it's 2022, and this is what they're publicly rolling out. So Zelensky, of course, they've got the good old Zelensky here being made into a hologram.
There's 2 different types of hologram that we're going to be making. Quiet please everybody, we're going to go for... Here we go, and action.
Even now, at the work, continue the digital transformation of our state.
We need to technologies. We need to make it feel like he's more in the room.
I don't think that I ever seen.
And my question to you.
So there it is. Once again, what this reminded me of is Equilibrium. So this was kind of like a 1984-esque deal. Here's just a screenshot of it, but it ends up, big spoilers here. First of all, they're drugging the population all the time. It's not as sophisticated as you would think. Again, this is a 2002 Christian Bale movie. A lot of cheese in there. All right, and they're supposedly forcing people to take drugs, and the kids are on drugs, and you don't have emotions. You're just a cold-blooded killer. You do what you're told for whatever role there is in it. You get breaking out of the system. But at the end of the day, they're led by a holographic leader. The person that they say is the leader is not even real. All right, and we've seen where deepfakes are. In fact, just today, a 20-minute conversation created by AI of Joe Rogan interviewing a dead Steve Jobs. All right? These things are going to get better and better and better. And we already know we got a poopy pants puppet president in there that absolutely runs nothing. Absolutely runs no things in the administration. Again, could not run. Forget about run. Again, I said it. I don't know if he'd make it as a Walmart greeter at this point. Seriously. I mean, can you imagine the complaints about the possible physical assaults on young people? Just saying. The hair sniffing alone. Could he make it as a Walmart? Forget about like running a department in Walmart. Certainly not a Walmart. Certainly not a regional manager. Let's not get crazy here. But like, we know he couldn't handle the electronics department. I just got some green fabric cut. They're really not that busy all the time, and it's just a tape measure. Maybe that one? I mean, I think he could run a shift there. I don't know that he could run that department. Maybe he could. I don't even know if he could do a shift. So this is the reality, and the media is all pushing like, hey, not only is he the dude, but Russia is bombing its own pipelines and its own bridges, and we have to accept that. There will be no lawsuits, okay, on behalf of the mercenaries in this country that have gone over there to fight the Ukrainian war. And there's plenty of mercenary groups ever since the War of Terror. Not on. I know you've heard about Blackwater. I know they rebranded themselves and then came right back around to that. XE Services Academy was another one. But there's a ton of them out there. Though, are those parents and wives going to be able to sue on behalf of your lives? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you know who else isn't going to be able to sue? The remaining family members, okay, of the Yemenis that survived that onslaught and genocide, not only caused by the bombings and devastation, but them being starved out afterwards as a result. They can't sue us either. They can't sue CBS or Fox News. All right. Instead, all this is going to be really weird selective enforcement. Where, for instance, in the mainstream, if one organization, say Fox, starts questioning too much, they'll go after them first. That's the obvious choice. Some of the subdivisions they don't like, OAN, Newsmax, again, obvious choice then. But eventually it will be everybody if you dare to step out of line. Just because that's the way this is. All right? That's how the cookie crumbles. So when I watched Jones up there, like, it was a surreal moment, right? First of all, I want to say this about Shady Hook. I 100% from the beginning said those kids were murdered. That was not even a question. All right? It shouldn't. I watched enough of the footage, all of the Carver footage, not just like the clip-its, and there was no doubt in my mind, okay, something terrible had happened there. And then a year later, when there was more documentation out there, everybody should go watch my videos on it before, because I really don't want to get into it. But I saw an emergence and a movement of purposeful disinfo to try to portray that nobody had died and it was all an act and crisis actors, and to put that on all events. So the next time a big event would come out there and you would question in any way, oh, you believe in crisis actors. Okay? And it's really unfortunate because people get, I guess, enthralled with the fantastic. Okay? And once they see something that is extremely deceptive and seems fantastic because of the way the media has portrayed it. Okay, by the way, the media is as much to blame here as anything. In fact, they are the ones to blame through the, psychological Bernaysian warfare methods that they use through their media military industrial complex. Right? That's what the real deep state is. That's what the real psyops is. It's on us believing into this great narrative. Okay? So you have that, and then that separates some people so far from any kind of reality, they don't know what to believe. And they are drawn to things that don't really make sense. Okay? And then people that are really trying to break things down, like myself, and I'm not perfect. But I can tell you right now, when I was looking at Vegas, I was looking at this guy that had all these gambling ties, and it seemed like he was probably an arms dealer because he had all these weapons, and he had tannerite in his truck, and, he was with prostitutes there, and they obviously knew who he was, and he, they found, I believe it was CP not only on his computer, but family members' computers as well. He was with a prostitute at times. He was talking about, quote-unquote, 9/11 being an inside job. He was claiming that he might have a chip in him. There's a lot going on there that should have been questioned. A lot in the Vegas shooting. But then it's just like morons would be out there. Nobody died. It's all an act. When in fact, you had a lot of evidence that there were events after that, specifically at different casinos, the Bellagio for one. I covered this at length, ad nauseum, and it was completely ignored. You had people walking through the Tropicana, etc., and it's still really, nobody's gotten to the bottom of it. There's all sorts of things there that were anomalous that should have been questioned, and they just got pushed under the table by madness. And now we've taken it one step further. You don't get to defend yourself in court. By the way, I thought that Jones would probably, and I've been pretty vocal about this from the get-go, that would have lost some defamation cases. Period. Unfortunately, just the way it was. I mean, public figure, those things were in place. I never thought that they would weaponize it in a manner of cartoon level damages, right? That's not only uncalled for, it's dangerous. And not let him defend himself and say that he's innocent. Like, look, default, that's never a good thing. He's got one more trial coming up next year. I mean, obviously there's going to be appeals. I don't think it's possible for $1 billion, but they talk about how they are trying to get rid of InfoWars in general. And if they're going after a media organization for one mistake, no matter how callous, right? No matter how repugnant, if you believe that's a good thing, you're not for free speech. Period. Period. So, get your questions and comments in. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. We are live over at the Rockfin and Rumble. I do want to remind people, Red Voice Media, we're going to be having our exclusive on Friday, which is going to be mega awesome. Absolutely get that up there as well. But we're going to be going 4 days a week. This weekend, CagedAggression.tv, 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 Friday and Saturday night, double banger. I'll be calling those fights with Hall of Famer and legend Pat Miletich. Very excited. So if you got nothing else to do, you like a little sports, you want some Jason Bermas commentary, you can do that. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. And remember, you can also buy me a coffee. Down below are the links. Red Voice Media, start out with $1 for the first month. That link is down there. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order, Define and Shade, the motion picture, free of charge. Let's do it. Let's get into your questions and your comments, everybody. Let's see. Good thumbnail. Well, thank you, Richard Andrew Grove. Richard Andrew Grove, good enough to donate a bunch of steaks over at the Pool household on Barbecue Day. Thank you so much for that, Richard. And, of course, the man behind the Grand Theft World podcast. Just had a notie on my phone about this. Mental 1.5 billion. I don't know what. Is there more damages I haven't seen? I saw it was like 946 million as Jones went off air. And I've seen some people be critical of Jones, the way he reacted. And again, that's another one of those surreal moments, because you're watching the Law and Crime feed and you're seeing all these parents. And I don't want to be one of these parents. I can't imagine losing a child. That's going to sting the rest of your life. Okay? But then you got, you know, the FBI guy there, and he's getting money, right? And once again, like the rulings, the judgments are huge. They're over the top. They're over the top. They're bad. What's up? This is BS. We are alive. It's Bizarro World. Hi, Jason, and hello, chat. Max Headroom took root, whatever that means. Folks better load up on X2. I can't imagine. First of all, I don't think that they can. I don't think that they can hold up those kind of numbers. Obviously, they're not sustainable. But it sets a terrible precedent. It shows you what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of InfoWars. They're trying to get rid of Alex Jones. They're trying to do what Peter Thiel did to Gawker in a micro case on this, when Gawker published the Hulk Hogan sex tape and the Bubba the Love Sponge scandal, right? And then Thiel bankrolled a lawsuit via Hogan that they could not stop. And that's why we really live not in a constitutional republic in many regards, but a techno-fascist authoritarianism. I don't even know how to describe it anymore. I don't want to call it a dictatorship or an autocracy, because Joe Biden's not a dictator. He's a puppet. He's a dementia-ridden old man. And the fact that our media can't acknowledge that every single day and say that this is lunacy and he's not running anything, it shows you that. They should all be sued into the ground for that. How many lives are being lost right now, because of policy overseas that's unjust, that's not even being run by the zombie in charge, who's putting us, in my opinion, the worst danger of a nuclear tactical strike in history, period. And I don't want that to be true, believe me. We got Tim Osmond over here. Kangaroo courts will eventually hang the jury too. That's the thing. We're all going to have to bend the knee to narrative control in a post-truth world on behalf of globalism and a transhuman agenda that wants to take care of take control of our entire biology on top of the track trace database system. They are definitely trying to set a precedent and clear message to any other alternative news sites out there that your days are numbered, or mainstream journalism that wants to do any kind of real journalism. In a time when everyone is turning off the corporate liars and looking for alternative info sources. Let's see. Mandalay Bay, an obvious staged... well, again, I would totally disagree with that. Again, see, this is what I'm talking about. Total disinformation. No, people totally died. Nobody talks about Vegas at all. Support the little guys if you can. I don't know, some cabal number. What's the First Amendment? Oh, big jump there. Didn't want that one to jump. Didn't want that one to jump. Boom, boom. There we go. We'll go down here. We'll go down here. Let's see. I don't know, some, let's see. It went over 1 billion. They kept going. It went over 1 billion. They kept going. Wow. Wow. Can we get 150 thumbs up? We got over 300 watching here. Let's see. Lake Mead water problems. That's a lot of iodine. That's for damn sure. That's cruel and unusual punishment. Teaching us not to question. What am I missing? What's the $4? I don't understand what the $4 is. Let's see. I can't read that on YouTube. Track trace database, the iodine. CEOs and other shitty people who hurt far more than Jones did pay less. You know what? Let's talk about that for a second. I remember a documentary out there called The Corporation. I haven't watched the sequel. But it explains to you how all of a sudden, through lobbying and the rule of law and judgments and the kind of things that Martine Rothblatt wants your digital twin to have consciousness legally over, they made corporations a person, except for with this catch. When they got in trouble, the people behind the corporation, like if they had killed people, they don't really get charged with murder. Instead, you just pay out all these fines. Right? What? It also talks about patenting life. They've played us. Let's see. Yes, I do love the Julian Assange. Yeah, no, they hurt society, and they have the vast resources to sue people into the ground. Let's see. And we can all thank Trump for whipping up the fear climate by a national state of emergency and pushing his Operation Warp Speed nonsense, granting them complete legal immunity. Hey, that's right. Trump failed big time on that one. When I think of Alex Jones, I think of that one song. They all laughed at Christopher Columbus, Marconi, Galileo, etc. I don't know what song that is. You're missing some C's. I don't know what that is. Technocratic transhumanist tyranny. Come again. How we doing, Bakersfield? How we doing, Flick Off? Good to see you. Gotta love how everyone resorts to the WEF and their published papers. Total front group. Yes, they are. Listen, the WEF is just a mouthpiece for this agenda. The UN is a vehicle via global governance for this agenda, this wrong think, right? And then they have control of the science, just like they do now with this transgender movement. Okay, they're the ones that told children, okay, during all this, to do what you're said, and you're going to have superpower. You're like a superhero. And now in this article over at the World Economic Forum, they tell you that this generation expects to really have the superpowers from their augmented reality. Okay? Help us prevent and spread of disinformation, right? This article has been intentionally misrepresented on sites that spread false information. Please read the piece for yourself before sharing or commenting. Guys, we read the whole damn piece here. That's what I mean. I covered this at length. I showed you, right? It says superheroes have been dominating big and small screens for a while, but there's a subtle change happening. Many children expect to develop superpowers themselves. Not represent. We've read through the whole article on air. Still pushing their lies. Okay? Still pushing their lies. So that's me having to bring it up in there because they're. But this is what they're really pushing, this metaverse. All right? Because they want to fool you into an unreality while they try to take control of their biology and live forever. Right? We're on YouTube, huh? Remember, this is Google's immortality division, Calico. Anyone go check it out, drug development. Are you going to be able to afford this? Is this going to be equity for you? Let's say Calico is going to have to do a lot of experimentation, you know, And with that experimentation, if there's some bad things that happen, are they going to be accountable for that? Or are they just going to have to pay out like we said before? Let's keep going. We got some stupid stuff here. What do we got here? We got another Tipsky and Hutch. We might. Another Tim Osmond. Though we struggle through the shakedowns, or I'm sorry, the shadows in life, look ever upward. You are the light in the night. I'm going to guess that's some kind of song that I missed before. When you say that I'm about to smoke some wig dong diggity, you ask the question, what am I missing? I answered the letter C. Let's get 200 thumbs up. Let's go, guys. Help the algorithm. Like one of that dude isn't enough. You know what? I watched this really interesting Martine Rothblatt interview with Ray Kurzweil about the nature of reality, twin rays. Everybody needs to see that. Ray Kurzweil heads up Calico. Just want to say that. I mean, they're real. They're rolling it right out. Starship Troopers 3. I did not watch 3. I watched the first one. Anybody got? I think I watched the second one too. Maybe I did watch 3. Who knows? Anybody got any suggestions for a really killer dystopian movie to watch tonight? I mean, Equilibrium's not a killer dystopian movie, but I love Blade Runner. Blade Runner is probably one of my favorites. So much of what Blade Runner, projected, they got the dates wrong, but it's kind of where they want to bring society. That's a good one. And then I also really, really love The Running Man, because The Running Man also got a lot right. And we're headed in that direction in a rapid fashion. And have already kind of been there with the culture and society, but they get the deepfake stuff right big time, in real time. And it kind of goes along with what we're saying in Equilibrium. Let's see. Yep, pure fall guy puppet. Pretty obvious, Bermas. Biden is the most obvious puppet we've had ever. Yes, it's very true. Can you imagine how advanced that crap is going to be in 10 years? Or how advanced it is already? Then all of any real footage can be dismissed as deepfakes. Also true. Again, post-truth world, Flick. Post-truth world. Good luck in forensics trying to prove anything. Plausible deniability everywhere. Drive-by thumbs up, catch you on the 1.5. He can't handle his own bail movement. Christian Bale jokes, we got him. Keep him away from sharp objects. Puppet Putin, the Pootsker. Poot. Can't even leave him in a room with a computer. He only knows how to get to one website. 300 Joe. 300 Joe. Record players. CB, check out the threads. Wow. Got it. Thanks. We got some poppy pants. Grateful goddess. Or goddess, I'm sorry. Let the Palestinians sue. See how fast that gets shut down. No kidding. And you know what? Let me go to my Twitter feed. Because we are talking about the Ukraine, and we should be, because the escalation there is on a scale that where they're talking about quote unquote nuclear Armageddon in a casual manner. But just so everybody understands, there's constant action over on the Gaza Strip. Let's see if we can find this. Oh, that's a disturbing story. But right here, we do it live. We do it live here. This is Gaza, not Ukraine. Does anyone care? This is from the 9th, 3 days ago. Take a good look. Yeah, no big deal. Never talk about that. All right, let's keep going down the line. Threads is a horror movie. I'm talking about dystopian science fiction, but I'll check it out nonetheless. Thanks. Let's see. So pathetic. It's always been a spoof. Was that Walter Cronkite? Steve Quayle had his doubts. I don't know what we're talking about with Steve Quayle. Crocodile tears. We saw no photos from the inside. How to muddy the waters 101. Oh, we're talking about the Zelensky holograms. Yeah. Steve Quayle's coming on, I guess, about 6 p.m. on InfoWars Live. Yeah, I guess that they're doing, I guess it's some kind of a charity kind of thing, a broadcast, an extra broadcast. Good for them. They're going to need a lot of it. And it's not just because of these rulings. I think just to maintain the lawyers and the appeals. Again, they're trying to take down media operations. Whether you like Jones or not, that should alarm everybody. Everybody. Okay? The chilling effect is going to be heard. Let's see. Come on, dude. Did you see them? LOL. It was pathetic. I don't know what that means. If you're not there in person, then you don't really know the facts. Okay. Howdy. Normative influence from Circus. People are infected with trigger words we can always spell around them. The only critical I have for you, brother, is I wish you did longer videos. I know most don't like Richard Grove level video length, but I think it would be amazing to go like that. I don't think I'm going to be going like that, but again, Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time is what we're looking at, 2 hours. So we're going to do that 4 days a week, and then maybe there's going to be some shorter videos. That's probably the next step. By the way, let's thumbs it up, guys. Let's get 200 thumbs up. We got 322 people watching. Over $1 billion. Just off the rails. Jones is very good at muddling the water. Listen, I think that Jones gets a lot wrong as well, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we would be at least putting so many people questioning things like, okay, and big pharma and transhumanism in general. I just, maybe I'm not looking at more alternative media operations out there, but I certainly do look at a lot. I love what Jimmy Dore does, but even Jimmy, he comes at it very left perspective, has blind spots, right? You know, there's a lot of friends on Rockfin. I really appreciate their works. I think Naomi Wolf, especially with the end authoritarianism back in the day, has done some really good stuff. I'm skeptical of things like the Blaze overall, although I'm glad they're out there because they're having people question it. But and that brings me kind of into why I'm on this tour with the Reawaken America tour, reaching people that have never heard of a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. So it's a tough call, man. It's a tough call. Dude laughing before he talked about, okay. Let's see. I did watch Utopia. Informative influence of clowns. Jones is right. 95% of the time, information is power. I bought 20,000 of gold bullion from Steve Quayle in 2003 at 342 an ounce. Unfortunately, life happened, and most people's brains are already money. Let's see. Certainly an arms dealer. It certainly seemed that way, didn't it, Flick? Certainly seemed like an arms dealing situation in Vegas, didn't it? At bare minimum. YT truthers were on Shady from the Jump Street and exposed it all meticulously. Seems like they really want to destroy Alex. Bunch of scumbags. Listen, I'm sympathetic to the parents, but obviously what just happened is just out of control. It's over the top. It's cartoon world. And it has terrible implications. Let's see. Almost every single person you see on the news each and every day is I don't know about that. That's ridiculous. Almost a Billy Hooley. Oof. Check Night Watch N8. I'm just sick of all the bullshiz and not enough people willing to stand up and take action. I hear you there. I wish we had more action. I do. All right, guys. I think that's going to end it for this broadcast. I want you to thumbs it up, subscribe, and share one more time. All the documentary films are free. Loose Change Final Cut. Fabled Enemies. And that's the thing. Listen, those are two 9/11 films. They want to go after people like myself for asking questions about that event with all the evidence in there. And I'm pretty sure they don't like Invisible Empire and New World Order Defined and Shade the Motion Picture either. Watch them, share them, and check up on them yourself. $1 for the first month. And this is where we're going to be doing the second hour. We're going to be doing 2 hours a day. It's going to be premium. You're going to want to get in on it. redvoicemedia.net/Jason. redvoicemedia.net/Jason. You can directly donate by buying me a coffee, $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. It's how we keep it moving and grooving over here. And guys, I just want to say, without you, I couldn't do it. Rockfin. We're over 67,000 followers. You hit that subscribe button. It's also $9.99 a year or a month, or $100 for the year. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the flip side.